everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be answering a viewer's question.
But before we start, if you like what you're seeing, please like, share, and subscribe.
Alright, so we have a viewer's question from Will. I don't even know you, and I feel like I want to call you Will. I hope you go by Will. For some reason, every time I hear someone's name William, I always shorten it, so I hope that's not offensive. But if you go by Will
on Facebook.
Oh, so you okay? So calling you
funny.
Will.
He's so smart.
Okay, so
it's like really cool things he says.
Okay, all right. So Hi Will. Thanks for the question. First of all, your question is: can a woman who doesn't respect her father ever fully respect her man or men? Which, good question. We actually did a video earlier into our show. I think it was last year. Well, obviously last year. I'll put the video link above me so you guys can see that video about being raised without a father.
Right.
I think that, like, for me personally, I had a hard shell with men based on the fact that I had no relationship with my father growing up whatsoever. So because I didn't have that what's it called, the example, I had this like an abandonment. It's funny because you don't think that you have an abandonment issues, that kind of thought process. I'm like, no, I just was raised by my father. It's my mother. She's cool. You know, I mean, it's fine. But no, there's something that's missing there. And the reason why I was treating men the way that I was treating them was really because I was wanting something that I wasn't getting.
I think most people, though, I don't know if you feel this way. I feel like most people, no matter what it is, whether it's dating, losing weight, or finances, it's not until you really have a crash and burn, or where you really feel like something's just not working out. Like, well, how come I don't have a husband? Right. Or that you break your life down. Yeah. And I think that's, to me, is when we talk about like parents, this is why parents are so important. You know, I think someone said the other day that, man, you got to have a license to drive a car, a boat. You got to have a license, or you got to have a ID to vote. But any idiot, a child molester, an alcoholic can be a parent. No big deal. There's no requirements. You can spit out a kid. And you got to figure it out or not. And but then you go and adopt, and then they give you a lot of crap to adopt. Yeah. But regular parents don't get that. But parents really make a difference in how, you can't blame your parents for the rest of your life, which is why I think the breakdown is important, because that's what happened to me. You know what I mean? Like, I never, like Danielle said, we didn't know our dad growing up. You know what I mean? He left when my mom was pregnant with Danielle. So I was a baby. So I was here, but I was just a baby. So when you don't have a father in your life, you don't think that this while you're growing up, especially like in your teenage years and 20s, that you have abandonment issues. But then you do. That's what you know what I mean? And then when you start to really break down your, like, when I think about, as I'm 44 years old now, I think about my relationship with men, and when I break it down back to my childhood, it makes sense why I don't have a husband. Like, literally every relationship you've ever had. Every relationship. Like, it all makes sense to me. They were the same type of man. Like, it didn't dawn on me. A lot of the men I dated were like my dad, and I didn't even know him. Yeah. So that just goes to show you that there's something that you tried to heal with, even when men don't have good mothers. There's something that they take from, like they said, I was watching the other day, what's his name? James Brown. James Brown had a horrible relationship with his mom, and his musicians often said that with the backup singers, and he was awful to women. He was just like, and a lot of the reasons why a lot of them left is because how he was. But he had a horrible relationship with mother. So the way that he dealt with women was harsh. Yeah, you know what I mean. And people will look at him and go, "Oh, it's no excuse. He smacks women around." So, but you have to understand that when he came from, there's something he didn't heal. You understand? So it's like with me, the same thing. It's like, I just, you know what I mean? As I started to date, I had unlike Danielle, I was more passive with men because I felt that if I was tough, they would leave. And so I did the extreme. So I was a little bit more tough with men, which is equally wrong. Right. Both things are the two ends of this extreme. So she went way passive. I went
kind of aggressive, and I wasn't letting anybody kind of in that way.
So it's not so much you respect men. Yeah. Now, if you have a father that was in your life that treated you bad,
that's different.
That's different.
I can't really speak
on that, but I can think maybe if you had a father that smacked you or beat you up or child molested, then you probably will have a hard time respecting men.
If you don't get help for that issue. Now, I'm gonna try to be as I won't say sensitive, but I want to be as respectful as possible right now, because I want to be transparent with this question. So we always have given you transparency, and so I don't want to like sugarcoat things, but I do want to be like respectful. There are things about my father that I do not respect currently.
Right.
So I'm just gonna put that out there. Okay. Right. Now, it's just what it is. Okay. Right. I can lie about that. I can pretend and not bring it out, but you guys don't look at this channel for a bunch of BS, right? However, a nice man.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put this. He's a nice man. He's I don't know him that well, but he is. I've talked to him. We've talked to him. He is a nice man, but there are some things about him that I don't respect. Now, because you asked that, so even though I have a small disrespect with my father, right? There's something about him that I don't respect. Okay, but I hold no grudges with my father. So that lets me. So I'm able to respect men because I hold no grudges. I don't have that on my shoulders.
I think it's more like trust.
Yeah.
Like when a girl, because when your parents are your first contact with the opposite sex, so how you feel about your mom kind of reflects maybe how you feel about women. You know what I mean? So the same thing with girls. When you have a father who just wasn't there, you don't trust men quickly. And so it may look like disrespect, but mostly it's just her trying to waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
That, men don't stay. Because when you don't have a father growing up, that is the idea, because then generally it's you're left with your mom, who is now alone, and then she will do things that she's not realizing she's doing, either like talk bad about your father maybe, or say something about men that isn't right, and they're setting you up for they don't realize they're doing that, but it's setting you up because kids really watch us more than they really. Things we tell them to do, they don't really listen. It's what they see you do.
Right, yeah.
And so for me, my perception of watching my mother be a single mother was men don't stay, they leave, and they make you angry as a woman, especially black men. Yeah. Especially, because I'm black, especially black men. So don't expect them to do anything for you. Yeah. They're kind of predatory, and they're kind of, you know what I mean? And so when you have that sort of example, and then he's not there, so it looks validated, right? You know what I mean?
So most women are not going to be, most people, but most women are not going to be emotionally open to men if they still have any kind of chip on their shoulder with their father. A lot of women don't even realize, and I think my younger years, I would admit that I was like this too. That I didn't think it had anything to do with him. I was like, no, look, my bad relationships have nothing to do with my father and the lack of a father, right, figure in my life, but. As I got older, I'm like, it literally does have a lot to do with that. So, it's like you have to find if a woman's holding anything over her father's head or something she's mad at, that is going to affect every single relationship she has, no matter what. So she's not going to be able to fully respect men until she can be at peace with her relationship with her father, good or bad. Whatever happened. It didn't end up with our father. It didn't end up with a cookie cutter happy ending, and that didn't happen quite like that. Come back. Okay, but that's also one of the risks you take when you decide not to be a father to your children. Right. A risk that you take is in the later years. Sometimes it's been too long. Yeah. Right. It doesn't mean that they're holding any grudges. Doesn't mean anything like that. It just means sometimes it's just too much time has gone by, and unfortunately this is a risk that fathers take and mothers take when you exit out of your child's life. It's just something that happens.
When I moved to New York, I spent 10 years not dating. Yeah, I didn't date, and let me tell you guys, I actually dated a woman. I actually thought that I would have I had a friend that was a lesbian, and she asked me out, and I was getting along with her, and I thought to myself, why not try it? Yeah. I'm in New York, and I thought maybe I should just, try it. You know what I mean? And I did. The problem is I'm not attracted to women. Like, I like lesbians. They're nice, but I wasn't a lesbian. You know what I mean? And that's just how you know you're not gay. Yeah. But I did try. Because I thought
you were done with men.
I was done with men. I was done with how they treat women. I was done with watching men over sexualize women. I thought be lazy, and I just thought I'm over it. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work.
Do you think that when you because was this before or after we talked to our father? Because we actually talked to our father when we were in New York.
Before. It wasn't that long.
Yeah, we could have tracked him down.
It didn't go on that long, but it was before.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, before we talked to him.
Yeah.
We actually tracked down our father again in that video. If you guys want to look at that video, I'll put it above me. But yeah, or it'll be a link in the description box if you want to look at the video. But yeah, so we actually contacted our father when we were in New York. I think we were like 25, 27, so, you know, in late 20s. And we just wanted to know what happened. Right. We want to know, you know, and we were fortunate. And some people are not fortunate enough to get answers, and we were. So we got it kind of filled up some holes and some stories and stuff. So we were able to have at least that, right? But do you feel like if you had not talked to our father, like, do you understand the you being with women?
I knew that.
What's the correlation? Like, because you know when you were with the person you were with, it was like you were. She was still kind of like our father. Like she was still.
No, when the girl that I was dating at the time, I thought if I dated like a butch girl, then I'd get the best of both worlds.
Oh, okay.
The female parts, because I get along with women. Yeah. The female parts of a woman, the softness and the less harshness, the less rudeness. Yeah. And then also the strength of men. Right. So butch women, you kind of feel that way about them when you meet them, because you get kind of both. You know, but if you're not attracted to them, because if you're not gay, that's when you start kind of know, right? And so, but what I did notice though is that lesbians they're just like, gay people are just like everybody else. They can be assholes, right? You know what I mean? They can be hurtful, and I found that out, you know, through that relationship. And so, I think that when you're, and I say this loosely because I don't want people to think that lesbians are just confused women. Yeah. Because I was confused, but there are people who are just gay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do think that there are women out here who are tired of men. Yeah. Not tired of men, but tired of the way they get treated by men. Right. That they kind of do feel like kind of try that. And in New York, when I was in New York, I met a lot of women like that that were willing to. So would you
say it was more like a safe space?
It was a safe space, because you don't feel like you can get hurt by a
woman. You don't think that that's going to happen.
You don't feel like that. Yeah. But you know, once I got out of that, you know, situation, I realized that it wasn't men that was the problem. Yeah. See, and I always say I'm grateful for that relationship I had. With that woman, because I felt like it changed me and made me realize that it wasn't that men were the problem. It was that I chose the wrong ones all the time.
Which would make you the problem.
Which makes me the problem. And this is what most people don't want to deal with, is saying that they are maybe the issue of their own problem. You know, that they...
Like, if you ever notice, I don't know if y'all ever noticed that when we talk about these kinds of issues, like, it somehow always goes back to, we don't even mean for it to happen, but it literally is always going to go back to you. You know what I mean? So, there are hurt women out there who deal with hurt in different ways, or they try to replace, you know, and so it's kind of like what you did. You're trying to replace something with something.
I was like younger when this all. I was younger when all this happened, but I was in that place of trying to figure myself out, because that was like the whole reason I moved to New York. Moved to New York just to learn. You know what I mean? To live. Yeah, you know, I didn't have my family around. No one knew me there, so I felt like I could just start a whole new just be myself, like try to find myself. Yeah, and I think that's what everybody does when they leave home. Yeah. They're always just trying to find themselves, and that was my way of trying to find myself when it came to relationships. And what I found, because I always think like this is how like God kind of works in a way, that He uses whatever you do to help you. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then what I realized is that I just literally did not trust men. And that's because I went in with untrusting energy. Yeah. I've met men who were untrustworthy. Yeah, and I accepted them. Right, because I wasn't fully over how I felt about my father. And then when I talked to him and I got back into my right mind, you know what I mean, I started to realize that a lot of my my problems with men, like I said, were me, and that the only person that can change that is like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to help dating women. It's not going to help being single for the rest of your life and saying, I hate men, I'm never going to date men again.
Yeah.
It doesn't help to do that. That's avoidance.
It doesn't help to be mean to men.
It doesn't help to ever avoid things.
It doesn't help to disrespect men. If you're having an issue, it's not right to, well, first of all, I don't think that any woman, so we're talking about that right now, shouldn't even entertain the thought of a relationship until you have made peace with whatever past that you have. Particularly when it comes to your father, because that is a bond that you never had. Like this, the community of women like us and girls, young girls, teenagers, women, adult, we're adult women. We kind of have this is it's a club we don't want to be in, right? And it's the fatherless daughter club, right? And it's not a great club to be in, but I think that if you don't repair within you, your lack of relationship with your father, it's going to show up in every single relationship that you have, and then you'll start blaming men on why you're hurt and all that. Like, no, you didn't take care of some stuff. You didn't make peace with your past, and you didn't make peace with the situation, and so it will show up bad. So yeah, those women are definitely going to end up disrespecting men. And
the reason why I know like things happen when you really analyze your own life, when you sort of break yourself down and look at things like the fact, I mean, like I said, I've shared with you guys before that I was also raped by a man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And a black man, another black man who treated me like, in a bad way, like my father leaving me, then I was raped by a black man, you know what I mean? And so I think that, when you have a mental space like that, you attract a lot of lowlifes in your life. And because you don't feel good about yourself, you think that you can sort of change them, or you try to make something happen. And you know what that is all about. This is why I always say when I say things about being single and being happy with your single self, is that when you need someone else, because I think we all need each other, but I don't think you need to be needy. Yeah. But when you need somebody to be in your life to make your life feel better, and this is the reason why I was in bad relationships, and this is the reason why most people are in bad relationships, is because they need that person because they don't like being single. Yeah. And they think having someone is going to uplift them or make them feel better. Yeah. And that's just not true. I want children, but having a child would never make me feel better. Having a husband won't make me feel better. Being a millionaire won't make you feel better because you're still you. It's true. Anything outside of you it's supposed to be an added bonus to your life. The way you feel about your life is the main course. It's the main event of your, like, it's like having a plate of food. Yeah. And then anything else, a man, money, all that's dessert. Yeah. It's true. It's just the bonus that comes to something that's already there. And I just did not feel good about myself. And I kept wanting a relationship from a man to make me feel better about myself. So I needed a man to tell me I was pretty. I needed a man to tell me I was smart. I needed a man, and I never could find that. They would always find that desperation in me, and it'd always make me feel worse because they needed me to feel bad so they can feel good because they're bad too. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like sort of attracts
the wrong man knows who to go to. Yeah. The wrong man's gonna go to a woman who inherently feels that she's not good enough. So that's like a magnet. You're like a magnet. So whenever I can always spot out women like almost immediately who have problems with their dads, their father. I can even if their father, they have a relationship with their, even their father was brought up with their father. I can always immediately tell those type of women because it's the same, like it may be different situations with all of us, but it's the same kind of insecurity. Yeah, insecurity that I've seen, and that's what you got to get past, the insecurity. Right. So I'm 43 now. I've actually talked to my father before. I've made peace with a lot of things within me. So I feel good about men. Yeah. I don't have, and I think that, like that's what Danielle said. Me and Danielle, there's a lot of things I don't respect about my father, but I don't hold a grudge to him at all. And then, the funny thing is that, I get asked out constantly now, and they're by nice men. Nice men, yeah. Black men are very nice. But that's just because there are a lot of really nice black men out there. And I think black men a lot of times get a bad rap because of the whole leaving your kids. Like they always get that sort of thing, like, deadbeat fathers. They don't do that to white men as much. They do it to like black men. Right. And I know a lot of great fathers that are, and a lot of men who really have good intentions. And that's another thing, like when you're an abandoned type of father, dadless daughter, and you get that abandoned feelings that you don't realize that
that there are a lot of men who want to be there for you.
Yeah.
And they really care about women and they really love you. And a lot of those men get overlooked because because there's anything wrong with them, really. It's mostly because there is something wrong with, it's not anything wrong with the man. Yeah. It's usually just because there is something wrong with her. And she's like, some girls really like bad boys. And it's not because they just like being treated bad. It's because there's something about a bad boy that attracts a woman's mental self that makes him think that somehow he's strong and he's going to be there for you, or he's
because the idea is that because even with my when I was younger, my relationship that kind of made me know I need to have peace with my father. I wasn't. He was trying to be like the man for me. You know what I mean? He was trying to be the one, and I didn't recognize any of the goodness. I didn't recognize the goodness because I never saw the goodness. You know, so in my perspective of dating him, which he probably shouldn't have even really dated me. You know, and we probably weren't even good for each other. You know, but because I wasn't ever going to be able to see it, because I had always no matter what, I was always going to believe he was going to be around. I was always going to believe the entire relationship. Whether I held that in secretly, but my mindset was abandonment. Like he's this guy, he's showing me all the love and stuff like that, but I wasn't even woman enough to respect that, right? So what happens, he ended up leaving. Like, you know, we broke up, we got a little weird, you know, and when I wanted to get back together, he was already gone with somebody. He was already, you know, with somebody else. So it's like this abandonment thing really plays a big part in it. So if you know, I'm not sure, Will, if you're dating someone right now who maybe you may think who has, I don't know if it's a general question or not, but let's just say that you are. I don't think it's just even wise to even date somebody who is showing signs of it. And you'll see the chip on her shoulder. You know what I mean? She's never really believing that she doesn't really let you do anything, you know, because the reason why she doesn't, because she doesn't believe in you. Because she doesn't believe in men. Because there was no example there to believe in. So when you don't have a father, you date by trial and error. And that's just what you do.
And I don't know if it's because I've gotten older. I think it's a little bit of wisdom because I've gotten older and I've lived life 44 years and I've been hurt. And, you know, like Danielle was saying, I had a boyfriend a long time ago that when I was dating, I had a boyfriend that I had for about 5 years off and on. He was one of those guys. They came and left, came and went. Then there was a guy that actually came in and treated me like, I mean, he literally came from, I used to smoke cigarettes, and he actually left the club with his friends, came all the way across town, bought me a pack of cigarettes. And then like he did that for me. Right. You know what I mean? And then he, like Valentine's Day, he gave me like perfume. He gave me everything I wanted. Flowers, perfume, everything I ever wanted. And I treated him like dirt. I treated him the way my ex-boyfriend treated me. And
you just transfer.
I'm not saying we.
You just transfer the energy.
I'm not saying he was good for me. We were, you know, he also.
It's not about that.
It wasn't about that. But why was I treating him? And I treated him like he was a wimp. Like I wanted to be treated bad on some level. And some level maybe I did. Maybe I didn't think I deserved anything good. Maybe I thought I deserved the abuse that I was getting from this other guy. And it also becomes a drug for a lot of women, because bad behavior from men for a lot of women is why bad boys get so many women, is that you almost become like a cocaine, a drug, because we always think, because women are nurturers by nature. I don't care how hard you are, women are nurturers by nature, so we always think we can fix you and we can make you better, and we get lost in that cycle. Sometimes we can't break free, and so men will always say things like, every time a good guys you finish last, and on some cases that is true. That's true, because women get lost in dysfunction. It's very hard. It's very easy for that to happen.
I've seen men say it all the time. Have you ever seen that when men are like, girls don't really want a good? I think we did a video on that too. Girls don't really want a good guy, and I you know, as much as I would, as much as I want to not, you know, agree with that. Like that is on some. True. If you're a hurt woman, you really don't know. And now I'm all about the guys that come to my life now, it's the complete opposite, but of what I used to date, right? So now the guys I date are really, they're just family. Well, I think it's because I'm more open.
But that's what I was going to say. I think I'm more vulnerable. As I've gotten older, I do think that the nice guys they look a lot different to me now.
They look
very more attractive. You know what I mean? And that's mostly because I've gotten over myself. I've gotten over the idea of dating, you know, men who need help. Who really need help, but I just didn't want to recognize that, you know? And so
I just let down my guard, You know what
and
I
that's
mean?
hard to do.
And, yeah.
Even now, like I was telling Danielle the other day, it is very hard sometimes.
Yeah.
To even with men who aren't trying to date me, when they try to do something for me, sometimes I'll be like, no, you know, I find myself having to say, you know, just thank you.
Yeah. It's hard for hurt women, like, you know, have a chronic problem with just taking a compliment. You ever see a woman, you give her a compliment and she doesn't know how to say thank you? She just
like keeps putting herself down, and you're just like, just say thank you.
Just say thank you.
But you know, women who can't, like I was that always that woman. You can't help me.
Yeah,
I can do everything on my own, because I always wanted to make it easier for men, because I always felt like men really never want to take care of women.
That attitude, ladies, that will keep you single.
Yeah,
that will keep you single. That kind of attitude, I don't need. I can do this all by myself.
And you know, I think like I was reading where this guy said, I think if women went into relationships with needing a man instead of wanting a man, you would get a man more.
Yeah,
because not needing in the needy way, but we do need each other.
Yeah.
You understand? And he says, so a lot of women in their late 30s and 40s have a habit of saying, I don't really need a man. And they're only saying that because they have all their ducks in a row. They have their money, their cars, they have their houses. So they don't think they need a man, but they forget that there's another type of need.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we do need men. We need men for our own emotional self. Yeah. We need men for our sexual self. We need men for a lot of things, just like you guys need us.
Right. So the beginning stages of the beginning stages of every child's life is going to be their parents.
Right.
Like that's the people. Those are the big people that you see. Right. So when one is gone, the other one stayed. It's like you're literally missing a half of yourself.
Yeah.
You know it. Like it's something that's never quite right in your life. Like something in your life is never quite right. You just can't put a pin. You can't pinpoint it, but it just like, why am I like this?
Yeah, it's like,
why am I behaving like this? And then you realize, well, that's because there's a whole nother person out there that is your person, and they're gone. And so any guy who comes in and tries to be the guy, you're just like, you're gonna be gone. So. Yeah. She's not going to respect you.
Right.
She's not going to know how.
I'm
sorry, real quick. It's not that she's meaning maliciously to not respect you. I want to make that clear. A lot of women, not all, I know there's some malicious women out there, but most women, I would say, especially ones I've encountered that don't have fathers or have problem with their father or whatever it is, they're not maliciously trying to be mean to men. It's that they don't have the tools to understand how to be with a man, so it comes off as disrespectful, and it probably is disrespectful, but it's not her intention. It's not that, but that is how it comes off, and those women usually get left or get stuck with somebody horrible, you know. So don't think that if it's a woman that's being like mean, they're scared. The women like that are just scared.
For a lot of women, it's like being pushed in a dark room with a light, pushed in a dark room and someone shuts the door, and then you have never been in this room, and you're just feeling it's hard to trust.
Yeah.
You feel vulnerable and you feel scared, so you start trying to, control everything.
Right.
But when you can't control, so that's the thing about love, is that love is that one thing. It's not like work. It's like that one thing that the love factor makes you vulnerable. But that is where you have to be in love.
So it's really about, you're right, because it is about trust and vulnerability. It is about respect, like your question, like it is about respect, but it's more about, to me, trust and vulnerability. It's just hard for a woman to fully be vulnerable to a man or men, as you say, that she's dating, when she has this problem on her back that she's not facing.
I think that it's more so not like what you were saying, fully respect. I think it's more a trust.
And vulnerability.
And trust, because once you respect is one of those things you can respect someone and not trust them. Like our father.
That's what I was trying to say.
I don't really respect my father like that, but I don't really trust him either. But he's not a bad guy. Like I don't feel like when I get around him, I'm gonna be taken.
No,
I don't feel like that. He's not mean. You know what I mean? It's just that I don't really like the way he treats women, and I'm a woman. So it directly affects me. You understand? So, because me and Danielle have a friend where the mother left. And her father took care of her. And now she's got the same thing. She's in her late 40s, almost 50. And she doesn't have a husband. Because she don't know how to be a woman. She's been raised by a man her whole life. And so she acts masculine. You know what I mean?
When there's a lack of a parent, it's particularly parents who haven't, not necessarily ones that have passed away. Like, I can't speak on that because that's a whole different feeling. If a father was in your life, but he then passed away unexpectedly or whatever, then that's a different subject. But women who have a living father and have always have had a living father walking around the universe somewhere,
right,
and never walked around in your life, that is a really weird abandonment feeling, to where you just like, who the hell can I trust of this man who helped bring me into this world? Like, I am the reason why my mother and my father, I'm the reason, I'm the product here, right? But like, this person's walking around the world somewhere, but I can't, it's no connection. So it's kind of weird. It's like, it's a weird feeling of abandonment. And so respecting, trusting, being vulnerable, all of these elements that you need to have a good relationship are just null and void, because that's why I felt it was important to talk to our father. So I needed to just
not to be his friend, but just to know him, and to really close that chapter of our life. So because I wish him like the best now. Like, I don't have any. I want him to be happy and to do things, but we don't have. See, I don't think you have to be in someone's life to wish them well. You know what I mean?
If you harbor anger, if a woman harbors anger, with her father, then she's not going to respect you, or any man, anybody usually, but any man. So it has to be, you have to make peace with it. You know what I mean? She has to make peace with it before she entertains a relationship. And that was my problem, is that I didn't make peace with it, but I was entertaining relationships. And all of those relationships, every single last one of them, were dead end, bad, failed relationships. And I didn't,
and not just on their end.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Failed relationships. I was not being a woman. You know what I mean? And I wasn't womaning up. I wasn't doing the right thing. I wasn't behaving like a lady. So I was expecting to get treated like, like it was the whole thing.
I mean, and it's a good question, because that's kind of the way that I used to feel about men. Can a man really ever respect women when he's been raised with a mom that's not a messed up mother? Because a lot of men are horrible to them. They talk about women like they're just sexual tools all day
so
long.
It kind of plays
you know what I mean? And then it kind of makes you feel the same way, but you know that there's a problem. When I see men like that now, I don't really get upset. I used to get upset, but I don't get upset anymore, because I know that something's going on here.
Thank you, Will, so much for the question. We really appreciate it. If any of you guys have any topic ideas or questions, please just email us here,
let us know,
or comment below. But do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We do upload every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody have a good day. Bye.